his previous contacts with police, was he arrested?
The previous contacts with police that we know of, we're still looking at. We really don't have a lot of information on those things.
Was there any kind of connection to the vandalism that occurred in the Cesar Chavez building on campus today?
No, and I'm unaware of that incident as well. So no, I'd have to say no at this time.
Would you consider this
Just a second.
assassination attempt if others were involved, or is it just a random shooting that just happened to be where a town hall was going on at the time?
If I were to speculate a guess, I'd probably be wrong. So it's best if we just let the investigation work through it, and we'll figure those things out.
Okay, we've answered all the questions that we're going to answer for now, but we will be available tomorrow morning, probably at the Pima County Sheriff's Department, to provide you with any additional, just a second, with any additional information that we have.
Are you planning another conference here?
No.
Will Dr. Carmona be making a statement today?
Dr. Carmona is here to answer any questions you may have about medical issues in this case. And he can come to the microphone now. But let me just say one thing, because people tend to poo-poo this business about all the vitriol that we hear inflaming the American public by people who make a living off of doing that. That may be free speech, but it's not without consequences.
So how do you say, if you don't know, if you're not talking about a motive, how do we know that that's what caused it?
You don't.
Like the sheriff, I am deeply hurt and disturbed. Some of these people were my friends. The congressman I knew very well, worked with her for many years. The judge I knew very well, worked with him. And so this is a very painful time for all of us. And as the FBI SAC said and the sheriff said, you know, our hearts are bleeding right now for them and their families and for the others that were injured. This is a terrible tragedy, and one, in all my years as a trauma surgeon or as a deputy sheriff, I've never seen anything like this in a community like ours. But I will tell you that because of the bravery of the men that were there that interdicted and stopped this from happening, and the extraordinary response by our emergency medical system and our law enforcement, more catastrophe was averted. And an incident command system came together very quickly. It's something that we train for on a regular basis. All our officers here, both in the fire and the police side, practice that on a regular basis. They look for those worst case scenarios and challenge themselves so they're ready for events like this. But today they came together in a seamless, integrated system that surged to meet the needs of the community. The people got evacuated very quickly after a quick evaluation. And our hospitals did extraordinary work in triaging. The University Medical Center Trauma Center and Dr. Ree, who's their director, did a fantastic job. I mean, because they were operating like a combat casualty hospital in combat. And fortunately, Dr. Ree is a retired Navy officer and has served in combat, and he's seen this before. I spent time there with them, and it was a smoothly operating system. So if anything, the community can rest assured that the response was extraordinary. It served the public well. More catastrophe was averted. I think lives have been saved because of the great work that our EMS, fire, medical community has done. But yet we're still in a great deal of pain and suffering for what has happened here today.
Anything new on the Congresswoman's condition since this afternoon?
The Congresswoman is in critical condition. I've spoken to the trauma chief. She has a very severe wound, but he's cautiously optimistic that there is a possibility she could survive. But make no mistake, this is going to take a little while to see how she does after her surgery. She could need more surgery. There are lots of complications that occur with problems like this. And so, you know, she's in our thoughts and our prayers, and we're all hoping for the best for her. But having taken care of a lot of people like this before, I know how difficult a path is to recovery.
In your opinion, with her injuries, will she survive?
As I said, the surgeons I spoke to are cautiously optimistic. I wasn't a surgeon. I'm aware of the studies. I saw the CT scan, MRI. I saw what was done. I know the surgery that was done. With guarded optimism, I hope that she will survive. But this is a very devastating moment.
Can you describe them?
No.
Can you confirm she was shot from the back or the front?
Well, I'm not going to go into that. As you said, this is still being investigated. In general, she's severely injured, and you'll get to talk to the physicians who cared for her tomorrow. So my point here is just to tell you that your emergency medical system, fire, EMS, law enforcement, all came together, did a great job, took care of business that was unprecedented in this community. And we're fortunate to have a great trauma team at UMC and community hospitals that receive some of the patients and then transfer them later as they were needed. So that's the extent I can comment on that. The more specifics we'll not get into now.
What are some of the simple commands that she responded to?
Again, I'm not going to get into the specifics of what she did or she didn't do. Suffice it to say, it is a very severe injury, and her physicians took care of her to the best of their ability, and they're monitoring her very closely now.
You did say she would need more surgery, right?
I'm sorry?
You said she would need more surgery, right?
I didn't say she could. In these cases, sometimes more surgery is needed, and that will be determined as they observe her care over the next few days and weeks.
Why would she need more surgery?
There's a lot of reasons. There are a lot of complications. There are a lot of things that can happen. And, you know, rather than discuss conjecture, I certainly hope that nothing else happens and she recovers to her best ability with the injury she has. But
for long-term brain damage?
hard to say right now. That's going to be determined as she wakes up and her physicians are evaluating her every day and do neurologic testing and so on.
Doc, this may have been asked earlier in the day, that when it was reported that shot went in and out, or in the head, did it go in and where did it go?
Again, because this is still a case under investigation by the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI, I'm not going to comment on the specifics of the wound. Suffice it to say she has a head wound.
Is that her comment?
Again, I'm not going to comment on the specifics. The wound that we're concerned with now, that the doctors have cared for today, is a head wound. Any others? Sure.
Okay, thank you very much.